What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, like an eternity later. So I'm going to talk about why I haven't recorded anything since my last video, and basically everything that's happened between then and now. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about a product that I picked up for my wife and I that we absolutely love. We haven't seen a whole lot of reviews online about it. Well, we've seen a couple, but I haven't seen anything that's as in-depth as I would have preferred. And I just want to talk about the company a little bit and how awesome they are and what they've done for us so far. So, by the way, this video is not sponsored or anything. I told them that I'd be willing to do a video on the product because they reached out to me after I sent them, I commented on their Facebook page about the product and how much we loved it, and they reached out and said, hey, we're going to send you something. And then I told them that, hey, I think it's cool that you guys are doing this. I've never seen a company or ran into a company personally that would do something like this. So, I want to give a little feedback out there and spread the word about how awesome they are. So the reason I haven't recorded anything since my last video, in my last video, I talked about revealing a surprise. I still have the Cafe Racer that I revealed, but I am actually going to get rid of it. As much as I would love to hold on to it and rebuild it and really make it the bike that I want, I've been given the ultimatum to either keep that or get something else and keep the current motorcycle that I have. Either way, I have two right now, and I am getting rid of the Cafe Racer, the Yamaha XS750, versus the other bike, which I'm going to reveal here in a little bit, because I want something else instead. And I'll talk about that whenever I get that as well. But I do plan on doing a video here soon to reveal the motorcycle that I talked about in my last video, and I'm super stoked for it. But basically, let's rewind a little bit and talk about why I haven't recorded anything since then. So, about a year ago, right after I got the motorcycle, not the Cafe Racer, the one that I haven't revealed yet. I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. I know it's probably confusing, but after I got that motorcycle, I got a tip tag on it, and after riding it for about a week, I got into a motorcycle accident. Fortunately, I was wearing all my proper gear, I was wearing a helmet, and I did everything that I could to protect myself in the event that I did get into an accident. So we're here, we're safe, and I've got no injuries, so that's good. But basically, I was coming home from working in mid-shift. I had gotten off at roughly 10 o'clock in the morning, and it had rained a little bit the night before while I was at work. And I decided to get on the road and head home. And on my way home, I was heading down a little two-lane highway, going towards the town I live in is a small town. It's a farm town. And so there's a lot of traffic on that road when it comes to trucks with trailers, or you see a lot of tractors on the road, a lot of farm equipment on the road. And I wasn't doing my due diligence to pay enough attention to my surroundings. And I had crested one of the hills, and at the bottom of the hill, there was a truck with a livestock trailer stopped in front of me, and I couldn't tell that he was stopped because he only had one working brake light, and it was the driver's side, and he was making a right-hand turn, and his blinker was out, and whenever I realized that he was stopped, it was too late. So I started to try to dump as much speed as I could. I grabbed the clutch and a handful of the front brake and the rear brake, and because it was slick out, I locked up the rear tire and started to slide. So I did that a couple times. I pumped the brakes and I tried to stop as quickly as I could before hitting the truck, but I didn't have enough time. Granted, I was going probably 20 miles an hour below the speed limit. I was doing about 45 miles an hour, and I was trying to slow down as much as I could. And whenever I realized it was too late, I decided I have a decision to make. I need to either go around or drop the bike and rear in this truck. And as soon as I decided to try and go around him, there was an oncoming car that almost hit me head on. And so at that point, the only thing I had left to do was to lay the bike down and slide into the back of the trailer. And fortunately for me, my helmet did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it protected my head. I cannot stress enough. I have a full face helmet, and I had thought about getting a half helmet, and I cannot stress enough how much happier I was with the decision I made to go full face, because I think whenever I went down on my left side, and I hit the back part of the helmet right here, and I actually cracked the foam on the inside, and then I skid along the pavement, and I had rolled over onto my face, and it had just completely scratched up the entire front part of my helmet. I actually still have that helmet, and I'll show you the damage to it that was done. But if I hadn't been wearing like all of my gear that I'm required to wear, like boots, jeans, gloves, jacket, I would have been pretty beat up. So I highly recommend anytime you are considering riding a motorcycle, wear all the gear that you can. Don't overdo it to the point to where if it's hot out, you're gonna die of heat exhaustion. Be smart about it, but the more gear that you have on you, the much better off you are. And I'm sure everyone already knows that, but at one point in time, before I owned this motorcycle, before I owned this motorcycle, I had an old 1989 Kawasaki Ninja 500, and you would find me on the highway doing highway speeds with shoes and shorts on. And after my accident, I will never, ever, ever put myself in that kind of position again, because it's so massively important to wear your gear, because it really is life-saving. So after the accident, I ordered all the parts that I could to fix the motorcycle. I had to order a new tank because the tank was already damaged before. I guess the motorcycle had fallen down, the asphalt had gotten hot, and it got soft, and so the motorcycle fell onto its side while it was just sitting still. And they weren't able to repair it, so I bought a new one, replaced that. I replaced the pegs that I had with like mini floorboards, which I'll talk more about whenever I reveal the motorcycle. And then, I replaced the side cowl that took a majority of the damage, and that was pretty much it. So it is in pretty much new condition, or as much like new as it can be. But I'm currently waiting on the title. So after I bought this motorcycle, the person I bought it from, they initially had the title, but they lost it in a move. So they've been battling between the California DMV and the North Carolina DMV to receive a duplicate title. California says that they never received title from North Carolina whenever that individual moved out to California initially. And so whenever the person I bought it from went to apply for a duplicate title through California, they said, no, you have to go through Carolina. And then it went back and forth like, no, you have to go through them. We don't have it. So there's a lot of documents that had to be filled out. And I've basically been waiting ever since then, roughly a year now, to get the title so I can ride the motorcycle legally. But yeah, back to the initial reason that I started this video to begin with. I am going to start moto vlogging here soon whenever I can get the title for the motorcycle and I can get it legally registered to me. And I actually got a GoPro Hero 7 Silver so that I can do that. And I still have to get everything set up and the camera mounted and everything, which if I had had the GoPro before and I'd mounted it like I wanted to prior to the accident, I probably could have saved myself a lot of trouble. when the cops arrived on scene, my motorcycle was still on the road. The vehicle had pulled off to the side, and I had gotten out of the road, and sat down in the ditch, and someone came to check on me. They stopped, and it was actually a off-duty paramedic, and they sat with me until an ambulance arrived. They could see that I had damage on my helmet, so they're unsure if I had a head injury. So I was required to stay there until an ambulance arrived, and then they put me on a stretcher. They put me in the whole neck brace thing. They did the whole 9 yards, and then drove me all the way out to Kansas City ER, and I don't even remember the name of the hospital, honestly. That's how long it's been. But they drove me out there, did some scans, and checked me out and said I was pretty much good to go, that I was lucky to have been wearing all the gear that I was wearing, and that accident could have went way worse. But that off-duty paramedic, he was a huge help. He actually was riding a motorcycle at the time. He's a Harley owner, and as soon as he saw a motorcycle down on the road and saw me off in the ditch, he pulled over. He got my bike up and moved it out of the road, thankfully, and called for a tow truck and called an ambulance, and basically saved me and my bike. But I forgot where I was going with that. This is an awesome video. I am just as good at this as I was during the last video. Anyway, yeah, the off-duty paramedic, he was a huge help, and it really helped out that he was a motorcycle rider, because he knew, how much it hurt to drop a bike and how much it sucked to have to go through that. So he knew exactly what to do, and took care of my bike. Thankfully, no one else hit it when it was sitting in the road. But yeah, so back to what I was getting at. I remember now. The GoPro mount. If I had mounted my GoPro, I would not have had any issues with insurance or anything like that. But because I had no proof of the vehicle that I had hit, that I had done everything that I could to stop in the amount of time that I had, and that they didn't have proper working equipment, the cop basically looked at me as a stupid motorcycle rider and said, "This is your fault." Which, had I been paying more attention, I probably could have avoided the accident. But I was taking all of the precautions that I could in the situation that I was in, with the roads being slick and everything. I was driving slower than the speed limit. I was doing everything that I thought I needed to do to avoid that accident. And whenever the insurance companies got a hold of the case file, they immediately looked at me like, at least the other person's insurance immediately looked at me like I was at fault because I rear-ended them. But I recently received a notification from my insurance saying that they're fighting it, and that they're going to try and reimburse my the money that I paid for the, not the deposit. What is that word? Deductible. They said that they're going to pay me back the deductible if they can ever get the insurance company, the other insurance company, to cooperate. So, if I'd had everything on record and had recorded on my camera like I should have been doing, then I could have avoided all this completely, and I wouldn't have had to pay out of pocket to fix my motorcycle when the other individual was at fault. So going forward, whenever I do get the title for the motorcycle, I probably won't even ride without my GoPro running, just because I don't want to risk being in that situation again, because you never know what can happen. And they say all the time, you always hear it, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it comes to wrecking motorcycles and dropping motorcycles. And that's entirely true. I had my motorcycle for a week. Well, this motorcycle at least. I had this motorcycle for a week and dropped it, and I never would have expected that to happen. But that just shows what happens whenever you get complacent, whenever you get too comfortable, and you're not being aware of your surroundings. There it is. When you're not being aware of your surroundings, what can happen? But anyway, yeah, I'm basically going to wrap this video up by, saying absolutely nothing, because I forgot what I was going to say to end this video. But be looking forward to my next video. Since you guys stuck around so long, I'll tell you what I'm going to be reviewing. My wife and I bought a Jetson Bolt, which is a pedalless e-bike, for $300 from Sam's Club back when they were still selling them. And we love those things. We've had so much fun on them. We love to take Cooper out and let him go running. I just strap him to my waist and he takes off and he absolutely loves it. And they are so much fun. We spend more time outside now than we have in the past year since we've had them. Just because they're fun to just ride around town on, run up to the grocery store and grab snacks. Just do stuff like you used to do when you were a kid. Minus all the work, because the older you get, the harder it gets to act like a kid without feeling it in the morning. So we've actually taken them out to Kansas City and rode around there for my wife's birthday, and that was a blast. We hit up a bunch of different little spots and had lunch at some places, and then went to Up Down, which is an adult arcade in Kansas City. They have a bunch of old school classic arcade games, and they have a full bar there as well. So we just hung out there for the day and just chilled. We parked somewhere for free, didn't have to pay for parking, and then rode around wherever we wanted to go, and have had a total blast with them. So, I thought it would be cool to kind of talk about that a little bit. Since Jetson reached out and did something so cool for us, I'm going to return the favor a little bit and give you guys a pretty in-depth video on my review of the Jetson Bolt and everything that I've done to it. I've done a couple different mods that I'm going to talk about in that video. Nothing crazy, nothing serious, but just a little things here and there that make it more fun and more enjoyable to ride. And then I'll talk about some of the shortfalls of the Jetson Bolt too. Some things that I'd like to see differently, and hopefully Jetson will get this video and they can take that in consideration if they make any more e-bikes, if they release any new ones. But I love Jetson. I think they're a really cool company. They're the first company that's reached out to me the way that they did, and actually sent me a product for testing, because they're in the process of releasing a new version of one of the products they had before. And sent it to me totally for free around the holidays, and I've been testing it out here recently, and I absolutely love it. And I'll show you what I had before that I didn't like so much, but it did the job. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and just stay tuned for the next video. I don't know when it's going to come. Don't expect it to come super soon. I have a lot of time right now because I'm currently in a 14-day isolation because there were a couple confirmed cases of COVID-19 in my area, and basically my job has said, we don't want you to expose anyone if you've come in contact with someone who might have it, so just stay at home for the next 14 days and check in occasionally and let us know how you're doing. So I'll actually have a lot of time to do the video that I want to do. Unfortunately, I don't have my microphone set up like I used to, because I got a new phone, and it doesn't have a audio jack like my last phone did. It's just got the USB Type 3. And so I have to get an adapter before I can start running my microphone. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Like if you like this video. Don't feel the need to subscribe. It's no big deal. If I posted more videos, maybe it would be a big deal, but it's not like, I'm posting all the time. I'm just doing this for fun because I have nothing better to do and I'm locked in my house. So, all right. That's it for this video. We'll see you guys next time.